Hey Kev, let's follow this trail over here. This looks like there might be something waiting down there.
All right. Hey, wait a minute. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I thought it was just me. What the heck is that?
I don't know what that is. Whoa, do you smell that too?
That's unbelievable. Hey, look.
What the?
Hey, look, those branches are moving over there.
What the heck is that?
Holy cow, is that what I think it is? Look at that thing.
Oh my God.
It's a freaking Sasquatch. Welcome to the Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters podcast. I am your host, W.J. Sheehan, author of the series of books, Bigfoot Terror in the Woods Sightings and Encounters, 38 volumes in audiobook, paperback, ebook, and Kindle. And by the way, folks, our new merchandise section of our website is up and running. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, man. Hats, mugs, shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. Magnetic bumper stickers. Really, we worked really hard on this. Head to our website, BigfootTerrorInTheWoods.com. All the book links are up there now. You click on them, it'll take you right to where you want to go for your audiobook, Kindle, paperback. And if you want, go to the shop section. You go in there. There's all kinds of things to look at there. Teas, something for everybody in there. All kinds of crazy stuff we came up with. And I'm sure you're going to really dig it. So show some support. Go in there, get a book, get a shirt, get a hoodie, get a hat, get. And now, may I introduce you to my brother and co-host, KJ Sheehan. Kev, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Bill. What's going on?
Just enjoying the past few days. It's just been marvelous up here. I mean, cool temperatures at night, that big, beautiful full moon.
Yeah, we've been sitting outside at night for the first time in a long time. It's cool enough here in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's comfortable, right? I mean, it's just beautiful. And that sturgeon moon. I don't know where they come up with these names. A sturgeon's a fish.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, this is the sturgeon moon we just going through, the full moon 3 or 4 days ago.
Didn't look like a sturgeon.
Looks like a moon to me. Yeah, I don't know. They come up with all these names. You know, the strawberry moon, the sturgeon moon. They should have a Bigfoot moon.
Hey, now we're talking. I know what that is.
And by the way, Kev, you know, one of the shirt designs, and I think a hoodie too, that we came up with is a Bigfoot passing in front of what looks like a full moon behind him, the silhouette.
I think it's actually a sturgeon moon.
A sturgeon moon. And the crosshairs of a scope are on him. And, of course, I used my tagline, always carry more gun than you think you're going to need. So check that stuff out, folks. There's some really cool merch on there.
Nice. And by the way, Bill, last night I came home from the store and there was a package on the kitchen table.
Oh.
From Bigfoot Terror in the Woods. And I opened it up and I'm wearing it right now. It is a black-eyed child. And it says, get your creep on the front of it. And by the way, folks, if you really want to get your creep on, this thing is way creepier than the picture. I'll give you a hint. I took it out of the package and my bride said, oh my God, that thing is creepy. And she's not sure she wants me wearing it. So that's creepy.
Well,
but I am wearing it.
We've accomplished what we set out to do, to get your creep on. You're literally having the creep on you.
And folks, in honor of that, Bill, this week, in Cryptids in the News and Other Oddities, we are going to get the creep on.
Oh, I love it. I love it, I tell you.
So, folks, I hope you're listening in the dark. maybe home by yourself, maybe with the wind howling outside, maybe with a full moon. Maybe your Labrador retriever keeps going over to the front window and looking out like there's something there. Okay. So, of all of the phantoms that haunt our age, few are as singularly easy for me to say, unsettling as the black-eyed children, of course.
Of course, yes.
Yes. And, they're not ghosts in a traditional sense, nor are they a Bigfoot or a Mothman, but they are the archetype of dread.
Yeah, right.
How do you like that? A violation of innocence that preys on our most fundamental instincts of hospitality and also fear.
Yeah, I mean, who would suspect a child to be something that would produce dread or a sense of danger, right, Kev?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the legend of the black-eyed children, of course, has this repeating theme and structure. It almost always happens at night. The victim that they prey upon is usually alone, either in their home or sometimes in their car, representing a sealed, private, and safe space. A knock comes at the door or a tap on the car window, and outside always stand one or two children, rarely older than their early teens, and one is usually younger than the other.
Yeah.
Their clothing is often described as strange, either overly formal, plain and featureless, or simply old-fashioned, like they came from another time. They speak in a monotone, unnervingly articulate manner.
Yes.
They always need help.
Huh?
Let us in, they insist. We need to use your phone. We are lost. Can you give us a ride?
Can I borrow your AR-15? Is it loaded?
I hope. The person on the other side of the door or window is immediately gripped by an inexplicable yet primal fear.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that transcends rational thought, a deep instinctual revulsion. Every fiber of their being screams that something is profoundly wrong. Despite this, they also feel a strange psychic pressure to comply. The children are insistent, their requests slowly morphing into demands. And then comes the reveal, the moment of clarity. The victim truly looks at the children and sees their eyes. They're not just dark. They're voids. Solid, soulless black orbs with no iris, no pupil. They are the eyes of a shark, of something predatory and utterly inhuman hiding behind a child's face.
Oh, my God.
So would you like to talk about a couple of accounts, Bill?
I would like to talk about them, but let me get my over and under 12 gauge first. Just in case.
Do you hear something outside? Do you feel a sense of dread?
Yeah, and I have my 12-inch Bowie knife right next to me.
I don't know if that works on a black-eyed child.
I'm going to try.
So the first encounter comes from a man named David, who was living alone in a quiet suburban neighborhood in the late 1990s. It was close to midnight on a Tuesday. He was watching television when he heard a soft, hesitant knock at his front door.
Oh, my God.
He wasn't expecting anyone. Through the peephole, he saw two boys, perhaps 10 and 12 years old. They wore simple hoodies, but something about their stillness was unnerving. He opened the door a crack, leaving the security chain on. "Can I help you?" The older boy said, "We need to come in. Our mother will be here soon. We just need to wait inside your house."
Oy.
A wave of dread washed over David. It was cold and sickening. "I'm sorry. I can't let strangers in. My parents are here too," he lied, with his voice trembling slightly. "That is not true," the young boy said. His voice does an exact echo of the first child. "We know you are alone. You must let us in."
Oh, my God, I can't imagine.
Panic seized David. Their persistence was unnatural. He started to close the door, but the older boy placed a hand in it. He didn't push hard, but the gesture was shockingly bold. "We need to use your telephone," he stated. "No," David stammered. "You need to leave. I'm calling the police." It was then that the older boy looked up, fully meeting his gaze through the crack in the door. David said his blood ran cold. The boy's eyes were completely black. There was no white, no color, just an endless, terrifying depth. It was a profoundly unnatural sight, and in that instant, David knew he was not looking at children.
Yeah. Hello.
He slammed the door, fumbling with the deadbolt. He scrambled away from the door, his back hitting the opposite wall. For a moment, there was silence. Then a furious banging erupted on the door.
Oh, man alive.
Hard enough to shake the frame. It was accompanied by the same monotone, demanding voice. "Let us in. We know you are in there.
Oh, my God.
You cannot hide from us." David fled to his bedroom and called 911. When the police arrived minutes later, the front porch was empty. There were no footprints in the soft soil of the garden beds, no sign of anyone had been there, except for the deep, splintering dents in the front door.
Wow. Oh, my. Can you, really, Kev, can you imagine being that guy with the door, the little deadbolt chain on it, whatever he had, cracked it open, and when this creep lifted its head up so he could see its face, and then they started hammering on the door, "Let us in, let us in." Oh, my God. And this guy goes flying back. It's a scene out of a horror movie. I mean, he goes flying backwards. He's stunned, crashing into the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And folks, this T-shirt that Kev has with the "Get the Creep" on it, I'm telling you, man, it's going to shock you. It is everything that "Get the Creep on" stands for.
It does shock you in person, too.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was creepy online, and then when I took it out of the package, I was like, all right, this is super creepy.
Yeah, and guys, don't wear it if you're going out on a date.
No, I don't recommend that.
It's not for date night, my friends.
No.
Or if you're applying for a loan.
No. Probably don't want to wear it to church either.
Right. Saying. When you go to buy your new gun of choice and you're filling out the federal forms, don't wear this shirt. Oh, my God.
All right. I told you we were going to get the creep on, Bill.
Oh, my God, Kev.
So what kind of account for us do you have this week?
Boy, I'm still freaking thinking about that, man. Oh, my God. I'm telling you, man. Well, this encounter was brought to my attention by Gunther Henkel. a resident of Boulder, Colorado. And this is what Gunther had to say about his Bigfoot encounter. It was July of 2009 that my wife Hilda and I had gone to spend a week in Mount Revelstoke National Park to take in a little relaxation and some hiking. We had planned our vacation around the summer months when the alpine meadows are in full bloom, being carpeted with yellow arnica, asters, blue lupine, scarlet paintbrush, and the white valerians. It very much reminded us of our youth in Germany. We had begun our day's hike from the campground near the Landmark Trail, our destination being the meadow atop Revelstoke at some 6,300 feet. On the lower slope, we were making our way through mountain ash, green elders, wild cherries, red and black elders, and the black cottonwoods. Interspersed with all of these are huckleberry, blueberry, and salmonberry bushes, which attract quite a few bears, so you must be careful. As you ascend the slope, the Douglas fir, giant cedar, and white pine start to take over. After some 4,000 or 5,000 feet, it is the Engelmann spruce and the alpine firs that dominate the landscape. Having made the summit, we had entered into what is a rolling alpine meadow, with Mount Tilly and Mount Mackenzie being in full view in the distance. Spruce and firs are scattered in patches and small groupings here at the summit. So we had sat down on some small boulders for a well-needed rest after this arduous climb. I think we had been sitting for maybe half an hour in the sun, when Hilda pointed out to me that one of the spruce trees, some 200 or 300 yards away, was thrashing back and forth in a violent and most unusual fashion. We sat watching this for some 10 minutes or so, fully expecting to see a bear emerge from the trees. When nothing of the sort happened, we continued to watch and wait. The tree having stopped shaking, Hilda and I decided to move a bit closer. No doubt a mistake, my friends. Maybe move a little bit further away. We decided to move a bit closer in hopes of seeing some type of wildlife in the trees. I think we had advanced perhaps 50 yards or so when a loud sound, what I will describe as a violent roar, erupted from the grouping of trees directly ahead of us. This was the same patch where one of the trees had been shaking violently only minutes before. This roar was so loud that I could feel the pressure from it in my body, despite us being some 200 yards away from its origin. At least that was my estimation at the time. Neither of us had ever heard a grizzly roar, and we both believed that this was in fact what we had heard. So why did you walk towards it, I say, Kev? The roar had frozen us in our tracks, and we actually started to slowly retreat when a large, hairy beast on 2 legs came running out of the trees some 50 yards and stopped abruptly in the meadow. It was looking directly at us, flailing its arms around in the air and thrashing its head and upper body back and forth while growling. The growl sounded more like a deep, guttural whine. The speed at which this beast had run the 50 yards was so fast that if it had continued, it would have been on us in a matter of seconds. That would have been our demise for certain. I grabbed Hilda's hand, and we slowly started to back away, not wanting to startle the beast. As we did so, it made yet another fast charge towards us, once again stopping after 20 or 30 yards. This charge was followed yet again by the growling and flailing of the arms and head, just as it had done on the first charge. The size of this thing was immense, and its actions told us that its intent was vicious, to say the least. The two of us kept slowly backing away, as this creature was intermittently continuing to growl and throw its arms and head around in front of us. We had actually at this point backed away some 75 yards or so, when the two of us turned and started to walk. At first our steps were slow and cautious, and then we quickened our pace, making it over the side of the meadow to head back down the slope of Revelstoke. As my wife and I made our descent from the meadow, we couldn't help thinking that this creature was going to follow us over the side at some point, and we were on edge. When finally we had reached the bottom, and when we were now clear of all the trees, the two of us sat down for a break and began to talk briefly. Both of us knew we had encountered a Bigfoot and thought that in some way, shape, or form, we had walked in on some type of activity it was planning in this meadow atop Revelstoke. We had become intruders in its territory, and it wasn't happy about our being there. Although it could have easily crossed the entire meadow and attacked us, it did not, which indicated to us that it was trying to scare us off. It had done one heck of a job doing so. Being so far away from us, it is hard to say how big it really was, having nothing to measure it against. But the thing that impressed me most was the depth of its roar. It had to have come from deep within the bowels of a very substantial beast indeed. The second thing was how quickly it was able to move with relative ease. During both of the charges towards us, it was able to cover a large amount of ground in what appeared to be 6 or 8 very rapid steps. They appeared more to be fast leaps that were very hard to distinguish separately. The succession of these leaps was so fast that to our eyes it seemed like a blur. However tall it may have been, its physique was that of a bodybuilder. It was fully covered in a reddish-brown hair that appeared to be somewhere, say, between 4 and 10 inches long, depending on the area of the body that you looked at. This encounter was so dramatic and life-changing that we had just decided to tell you about it. Seeing it is certainly believing, and neither of us had really given much thought to the reality of their existence until that day in the meadow. How quickly things can change, Bill. What do you think, Kev?
Wow. I mean, first off, starting out, the descriptions of the different trees, the flora and fauna, it's like this gentleman is like an arborist or something.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there. Again, Kev, how I say people see something because they're looking. A lot of the people that get involved with a Bigfoot encounter such as this one, they are educated. They are in touch with the woods, nature. They can identify things, and they are, in fact, looking and observing, and they have it in their memory bank, everything that they were looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a description. He's like laying out every type of tree that was in the forest ascending the mountain.
No, exactly. So that's one takeaway. And then, the other takeaway is Boulder, Colorado, and the mountains around Boulder is one of my favorite places.
Uh-huh.
It's just so beautiful and right on the edge of wild, but yet it's a college town and just spectacular greenways through the city and stuff like that. So that's one point. And then the description of the beast and the length of the fur and color, the hues, Like, just fantastic observations.
Yeah, and what a mistake, though, Kev. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well,
thinking you're going to move towards it to see what's going on. I mean, no arms. I'm not talking to people who had no arms. I'm talking about guns. No
And
armament.
they didn't mention that they were carrying more gun than they thought they would need either.
Yeah, exactly. My friend says, play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. Yeah. So this is a stupid game, my friends. Yeah, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a dog on the other side of the street, bushes rattling around. You want to go see what's moving them? I don't think so, man.
No.
Get away.
Yeah.
So now let me go on to number 2 here, Kev. And in light of the fact that you mentioned the degree of the descriptive prowess of this professor, no, he's not a professor, but the Gunther Hankel. This second account is equally impressive in that light. So this sighting was brought to my attention by a retired professor, Richard Hayes, a young man of 79 years of age. And this is what the good professor had to say. As I told you when we first spoke, Bill, I was a professor of biological studies for almost 40 years, when I finally decided to call it quits. Although what I'm about to say to you and your readers and listeners is actually quite dated, it rings true to the foreword you had in your first book, which is how I came to know you. In your foreword, you said rather concisely that people see because they are looking. To that rather poignant point, I must commend you, for this is exactly what I have been prodding my students to do my entire career. If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times, that we as people need to open our eyes to the beauty that surrounds us wherever we may find ourselves. There is so much to see and so few who see it. It is in the same light that my wife and I came to see the Bigfoot, long before the name became somewhat commonplace. In my earlier years, I, like you, was an observer of all things. I would regularly take long hikes, either alone or in the company of my wife after we had met. But on this particular day, which was June 23rd, 1956, my wife and I had gone into the Muir Woods National Monument, which is a protected cathedral-like grove of virgin redwoods located in a valley north of San Francisco. So you and your readers can understand, the area of which I speak was entirely a different place at the time when we were there, as opposed to now. There was not a fraction of the people and habitations that one can see in the region today. As a little science lesson, who doesn't like a science lesson, which I think that you and your readers can appreciate, many people often confuse the coastal redwoods with the giant sequoia of the Sierra. Both belong to the genus Sequoia, but are separate species of that genus. The species that grows in the Muir Woods is Sequoia sempervirens, which is more commonly called the redwood. The species growing in the Sierra Nevada at altitudes between 4,000 and 8,000 feet is Sequoia giganteum, more commonly known as the giant sequoia. Redwoods can live about 2,000 years, while the giant sequoias can exceed 3,000 years or more. Many of these trees were alive when Christ was put on the cross, to bring this into perspective. My wife and I had begun our hike from the parking lot on the main trail. At the time, it was the park's policy that nobody was to leave the trail. We began the hike on what was known as the Nature Trail, which brought us into an area of the redwoods known as the Bohemian Grove. When we exited the grove, we had crossed Redwood Creek and proceeded up to the main trail towards what was known as Cathedral Grove, a distance of perhaps a half a mile or so. Now, to the unlearned, had to clear my throat. To the unlearned, one might think that you would be walking through a woods comprised of telephone poles with visibility being grand in every direction. But such is not the case. The forest is predominantly quite shady, and there are actually many varieties of trees and bushes competing for the sunlight in the base of the forest. That, in conjunction with the quantity and width of the redwoods, made for a more tunnel-like effect on the trail in many locations. You could not see very far ahead or to your right or left hand. So the two of us... Pardon me, folks, my sinuses are draining. Excuse me. The two of us were alone and well along on the trail when we stopped to look at a California variety of fetid adder's tongue growing at the base of one of the redwoods. This is a rather unique plant variety, and it caught our eye. As the two of us were bent over examining this plant species, the view ahead of us on the trail looked somewhat like a keyhole formed in the trees. We were touching the plant and talking about its beauty when out of the corner of my eye I saw something dart across the trail beyond this keyhole that I just described to you. Whatever it was had crossed the trail on two legs, maybe 150 to 200 feet ahead of us. I told my wife I had thought that I had just seen a man cross the path up ahead of us, but that I was uncertain. My wife replied, "Let's go and have a look-see." As we were walking ahead, we heard a distinct whoop, whoop. The noise came from within the forest to our left. From our perspective, you couldn't see a thing except branches, bushes, and tree trunks. There wasn't a soul in sight. My wife and I had both said that no one was supposed to go off the trail into the woods, so who exactly had done this we did not know. Upon reaching the spot where I saw the man go across the trail, there was somewhat of an opening in the trees, looking back into the forest for quite some distance. As we stood there, peering into this picture frame-like view going back into the trees, a large, hairy, gorilla-like creature leaned out from behind a redwood and quickly moved back behind it. My wife said to me, "My word, Richard, what on earth was that? Did you see it?" I had seen exactly what she had. It was what appeared to be an 8-foot-tall gorilla. Keeping in mind that at that time, there were no discussions about Bigfoot or Sasquatch and the like. We had never heard of such a thing. Neither had we read any material whatsoever in any of the scientific publications about them. We had quite simply observed something that we were trying to label, and the term gorilla fit the bill. The tree it was hiding behind had enormous girth, and we could see nothing of it. My wife said that she was frightened and that she wanted us to leave immediately. I was trying to comfort her and to get her to stay for just a few more minutes. This gorilla walked out from behind the tree then and back into the forest out of our sight. The two of us, Bill, to be quite frank with you, were completely baffled by what we had seen. As the creature walked away, its back was turned to us, and it had briefly turned its upper body to give us a glance. At that moment, what skin we could see on the face looked gray, and it had a very broad jawline. The face was devoid of hair as far as I can remember. The overall dimensions of this thing's body were staggering. Its body was so wide that had it been hiding behind anything less than a redwood, we would have seen it. Its thighs and legs were thick, and its thighs and legs were so thick that I soon realized as I saw it that it must have been further than I thought when I first saw it out of the corner of my eye. Now, folks, I asked Richard to expound on any other details other than what he had said, and this is what he added. The fur bill appeared to be a mix of dark brown and red. The coloration was only visible for a brief moment as it walked through a solitary ray of sunlight gleaming down through the canopy. When it turned its head to look at us, it didn't really turn its head, but rather its entire upper body. I knew why after it had turned back away from us. The head was actually tucked in forward to the shoulders because as it walked away, the enormous muscles of its upper back concealed most of its head. It apparently couldn't just turn its head around without the whole body following. The shoulder width must have been every bit of 5 to 6 feet. And it wasn't until that film had made headlines years later that we now knew what we had seen and what he had filmed. He's talking about the Patterson-Gimlin film. The creature was very similar to the one in the film, only more lean and much more muscular. Again, Bill, I must compliment you on your foreword, which was pure genius. Thank you very much. In which you simply stated that people know what they are seeing without any contributing notions coming from anyone else. And folks, if the professor knows what a fettered adder's tongue is on the forest floor, then I think he knows if and when he sees a Bigfoot. What do you make of that, Kev?
Man, I don't know what a fetter's adder tongue is.
Yeah, and amazing that both of these accounts, we had two, relative geniuses of flora and fauna out hiking around in the woods, which is home to them. They love this stuff,
100%.
You just it's like a bird watch, Oh, there's a a golden chickadee. There's a black-capped chickadee. There's a blue jay. You know what you're seeing. Incredible, huh, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, just amazing, Bill.
5 to 6 feet wide at the shoulders, 8 feet tall.
And by the way, like I talked about Boulder, Muir Woods, named after John Muir, just north of the Golden Gate Bridge. So, folks, if you are ever in San Francisco visiting and, you got a couple hours to kill, just go north of the Golden Gate and you hang a left off of the road there. And you go into this, park, pretty small park, but of giant secluded redwoods. And it is spectacular. I've walked through there many times, Bill, by myself, killing some time before a flight and things like that. And then you're like, whoa, this is a very wild place here. Anything could sneak up on you. Bill, did I lose you?
I'm here, Kev.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you.
I don't know what happened. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the mute button. I was clearing my schnauzola, otherwise known as my nose. Folks, not that it's any interest to you. I have, some type of allergy, sinus issue, living in the back of the woods here like I do, and it's been a little brutal this spring and summer for me, Kev. I mean,
you also got these forest fires up in Canada that are all the smoke is coming down by you.
That's true, and I hadn't been thinking about that. And that's probably what's irritating me. There's some particulate matter in the air that I just go out the door, and I need a box of tissues or whatever.
Yeah, no. You look at the air quality index; it's probably pretty bad right now for you.
Well, yeah, and with the dispensaries opening up around Long Island, the air quality's not too good either.
That's another issue.
Wow, man, I'm really high.
All right, Bill, you ready for some listener mail? That is a great account, though.
Yeah, I certainly am, bro. What do we got?
All right, so we had an email come in a while ago from John in Sussex, England, and he sent me the videos where it was someone like picking apart some of the video clips in Skinwalker Ranch, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I acknowledged that. I thought it was great that he sent those, and I really liked what he said. And he wrote back again, so I'm going to read his reply.
Okay.
He says, "Hello, Bill and Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. I was gratified by your reaction. As you can imagine, I too found that video fascinating. Its value coming from the clear explanation of aspects of what may be going on that episode of Skinwalker Ranch and what actually is going on without being noticed. This is a reminder of the need to explore possible alternative explanations when they arise. We should want to know the facts when they can be known, to know the truth when it can be made clear. If not, we may find ourselves living in an I want to believe bubble where our pre-existing biases are confirmed without question."
Yeah, very astute of that gentleman to make that observation on his own. And it rings so true. Now, Kev, you and I are both fans of the Search for Skinwalker Ranch. I do not believe that everything they're doing over there is a bunch of malarkey.
I don't either. And I said some of it is probably the editing and things like that.
Right.
You know, like could be mistakes, legit mistakes in editing. But, you know, I like John's approach. And you know me, I'm always talking about Occam's razor, where, you know, the solution to a mystery or a problem phenomena is often the most obvious and simplest solution, not the most complex one that we come up with.
Yeah, now, you know, I've said this about Expedition Bigfoot. It's my own personal belief, and I love the series. I'd say that probably 50% of the show is made for TV dramatization. I'm not buying everything that goes on, but I am buying a bunch of it. I think the same thing is probably likely in the Skinwalker series. We all know there is a lot of freaking high strangeness going on regionally there. Are they kind of duping us a little bit at times with certain things? I would have to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it more dramatic,
right?
If nothing else.
Right. They're adding some drama to the show to spice it up a little bit. Now, yeah. I know why they're doing that, because advertising pays the bills, right?
Right. As John pointed out, I believe, in his first email in, you know, it's a money-making show.
Right.
You know, it's a profit-making show. It's not anything else.
But unfortunately, at the same time, when you go down that road, all you need to do is, you know, start to get a few people start saying, you know, well, look at this, look what they did, you know. And it's true. You're opening the door for criticism. I wish they just kept the whole thing free and clear of any opportunity for anybody to besmirch what they're doing. But who's asking me?
Yep.
You know, I feel that way about everything. Just go in straight up, present everything for the viewer or the listener to see, to listen to, and let us make our own decisions. You know, folks, when I read these accounts, it's entirely up to you what you think of them. I know what I think of them. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people, and I've made a lot of friends having done interviews. I have my own opinion. What's yours? You know, And Kev, where can people reach us if they want to talk to us or share an account?
Yeah, our website, BigfootTerrorInTheWoods.com, under Contact Us.
And, let us know what you think, what you've seen, or even just say hello,
Yeah.
What else you got, Kev? Anything else?
Yeah, I got one more email, Bill,
Okay.
that we'll cover from Carol. And she says, I'm a full-time RVer, retired from working, and live in my rig all year long. I love being outside, camping, and exploring. When I first got into the campsite I'm still in, a big handprint appeared on my Jeep's hood overnight.
Wow.
I took pictures of it that I can send if you let me know how. I value your and Kevin's opinions. I'm a senior, been outdoors a lot of my life, and was on a sheriff's search and rescue team for 16 years, but really never had anything happen quite like this. Thank you, Carol.
Yeah, we've had the handprint appearance before, and actually on Expedition Bigfoot, they had a handprint appear on the glass, door glass of the little structure or house where the one fella has like the command center. And these handprints are large.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate, seeing this. It stands out, if you see it and there's any dirt on the palm or anything, it's pretty obvious what you're looking at. It's not the paw of a bear that touched your hood or your window on your car,
No.
So they seem to be inquisitive, coming around looking at things.
Sure.
I mean, heck, I know even the birds in my yard. If I hang anything up in the yard or put anything new out there and spend any time in the yard, I will see the little buggers landing near it, looking around, going around.
Checking it out.
Yeah, Kevin, it doesn't matter what you put out there, they will investigate it.
Cool.
So why not a Bigfoot that certainly doesn't have the capability of a bird brain, for instance? Why would they not investigate? Raccoons investigate, squirrels look at things, dogs sniff around at things, looking at things, Why would they not be investigating things in their area?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Crazy, man.
Good stuff. Well, folks, thanks for writing in. Please keep the emails coming. We love to hear from you. And if you haven't given us a 5-star review lately, please give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast player. It is virtually the only way that we have to attract new listeners to the podcast. So thank you very much, and thanks for listening.
Awesome. And remember, folks, go to the website, go to the shop, check out the merchandise, pick up something, mug, hat, T-shirt, hoodie, bumper sticker, whatever you like, man. There's a lot of good stuff on there. Buy a book. And remember, if you should find yourself hiking through the forest observing the gigantium redwoods, or if you're answering the door in the dark of night and the black-eyed children are before you, remember this, my friends. Always carry more gun than you think you're going to need. Sleep tight.